All right, so today's topic is role play 2. It's a follow up to the last video that I made. Came from Ephesians chapter 5, where it talks about husbands loving their wives as Christ loved the church. It talked about wives submitting to their husbands as unto the Lord. Really felt the need to kind of just circle back. You can never really put a period on a conversation of marriage, but I definitely wanted to add a few more thoughts. So I'll get into that. I know that those scriptures are among some of those that are used to kind of, they're weaponized to kind of control the way that uh, we experience, mainly women experience Christ in their marriage and in church. So I really wanted to add some context from my perspective. Again, I'm just sharing the lessons that I've learned in my 18 to 19 years of marriage. Uh, it's a growing experience. I didn't always do everything right. Uh, Probably made almost every mistake you could possibly make in a marriage. So definitely want to share lessons and hope that it can help others, in their journey with the person they're with. So I'll get right into it. So husbands loving your wives as Christ loves the church. What does that mean? When you look at scriptures like that, it's really talking about us as husbands being spiritually responsible for our spouse. And what do I mean by that? When you think about the whole purpose of Christ coming back and everything that he did for the church, it was really to create a path for us to eternally experience Christ in our lives and have a direct way to experience him in our lives. So in the same way, our behaviors, the lessons we teach, the vibes we give off, the things that we do should all point our family to Christ, to wanting to know him more and more. I should love my wife in a way that makes her want to know Christ more and more. I should treat my wife in a way that makes my kids want to know Christ more and more. I would even go as far as to say, when you look at the state of your family, you look at where your children are and where your wife is and who she is and who your kids are. Uh, in some ways, that's a reflection of they're a reflection of your leadership. You can't say that every single part of it is you're the reason why. You can't take all the credit and you can't take all the blame, but a part of that is a reflection of your leadership. And so you have to see it that way because that's how God sees it. We are spiritually responsible. We can get into the word submit. We could get into husbands loving their wives and all these different things. At the end of the day, all of these scriptures about how wives should be in church, how husbands should be in church, how they should be in a marriage outside of in the home and outside of the home, it all comes down to husbands being spiritually responsible for their families, even down to the leadership roles in church. So we have a spiritual responsibility to them. So at the same time, it's also a clue to women in what to look for and what to expect from a spouse, from their husband. Um, in order for me to love my wife like Christ loved the church, I have to love God more than my wife. And so there's a clue right there. If you're with someone who loves themselves over everything, that's a warning sign. If you can't be in a Christian marriage with somebody who doesn't love God more than you. Those are just the facts. And so as far as wives submit to your husbands as unto the Lord, and I said that in my first video that it was about. I'm looking at my notes, so forgive me. It was about unity, trust, and confidence. Well, I say that because anything we do when it comes to showing respect to, giving the place of authority or accountability to somebody else, you can't do that with somebody that you don't believe is truly for you, somebody that you don't truly trust, and that's somebody that you don't truly believe in as a person. It's not possible to submit to somebody that you see that way. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's more difficult. So ask yourself, if you're struggling with that, with the concept of submitting to someone, what about the person you're with, the person you're married to, or the person you're thinking about being with makes it difficult for you to trust, believe in, or support them in any way. So I'll leave you all with that. Again, I want you to see the scriptures not as a barrier to your relationship. Yeah, so like I was saying before, I was really interrupted by my iPhone storage warning. Um, yeah, I don't want you to see these scriptures as a barrier to your marriage or burden. I want you to see them as a guide on how we should love and support our spouses.